what is one thing that you hope every student athlete learns from playing sports?
It's not about the outcome because you can't control the outcome. It's all about the process and your preparation to get to your end goal. And enjoy the journey because you can't take any of that for granted. Those are the memories that you're going to remember forever.
Welcome back to Building a Champion, the podcast where we dive into what it takes to create winning programs and build a culture of excellence in athletics. Today, we are heading to small town Iowa, where a powerhouse football program continues to make history. Joining us today is Jarrod Schutt, the athletic director at Remsen St. Mary's, to break it all down. Jarrod, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here, Jordan, Dylan. This is kind of a cool opportunity for us to share our story.
I'm so glad you could join. Well, the Remsen St. Mary's Hawks have won their third state football championship in the last 5 years, cementing their place among Iowa's elite programs. And it's not just football. This athletic department seeing success all across multiple sports. Jarrod, going to be honest with you, winning one championship is hard enough, but 3 in 5 years, that is some next level dominance.
Yeah, it's been quite the run here. And football isn't a long tradition sport here at St. Mary's. I think the first year that they had it was 2002. And we started out as an 8-man program right from the beginning. And in 2004 was the first state championship. Ken Hayek was the head coach of that team. And after that, we had some other state appearances, but then it started to fall off the map a little bit. And I would say it's probably about 2016, 2017, his son Ryan Hayek took over as the head coach, and they were able to make it back to the championship. I think that would have been 2017 that they made it back. Runner-up to, I believe it was Don Bosco that year. And then 2000, we got back. Coach Osterman, Tim Osterman, took over. And after Ryan stepped down and Zach Arnold, another alumni of St. Mary's, took the program for 2 years and had success, left a really good foundation for Tim, and Tim has ran with it. He's had really good assistant coaches, really good setup foundation of the program. And yeah, we won the 2020 championship. Was a really awesome experience. We kind of came in with the expectation that we were one of the best teams that year, and we're able to go start to finish undefeated. And then 2021, not so expected. We had lost a lot of seniors off the 2020 team. We had a lot of injuries to really good players that year, and we ended up losing in the semifinals to Easton Valley in a really close game that we had a chance to win. But sometimes bodies, when you just don't have the healthy bodies, that really hurts you. And that group of juniors came back the next year and won it in 2022. Had a lot of motivation, a lot of great players, a lot of depth. That was a really fun group to coach just because we were so talented top to bottom. And then last year got knocked out in the second round to Bishop Garrigan, which great team. They went to roll and win the championships. So it's not like we got knocked out by a bad team there. They were a phenomenal team. And then this year we had our chance to play them in the semifinals, and this time we got them. And a lot of those kids that were juniors last year kind of got their redemption, that you could say. And we were just able to finish it off this year.
Love that. Let's dig into that championship game. What were some of those key moments? How did the team get it done?
Yeah. And I would say it really even started before the championship. We came into this season with expectations that we could be good. And you could see it right away in fall camp that the kids had a belief and an understanding of the system and a belief in each other. And it really showed up in week 7. We played Woodbine, and Woodbine was extremely talented. I think they have 3 guys that are getting Division I offers, Division I looks right now. And we were able to beat them at our place. And that really set the belief for our kids that, hey, we have the ability to take this a long ways. We were really successful in the postseason. We played West Bend Mallard, Caminita, and Audubon, and got that rematch game against Bishop Garrigan. And going into a game where you get to play the team that beat you out the last year, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings going into that. And I think the biggest thing that our kids embraced was not the fact of that it was about revenge or redemption or anything like that. It was, hey, let's show kind of how we've grown from this experience. Um, so in a lot of ways, that loss to Garrigan showed us that we weren't as strong in some areas that we needed to be. Specifically, I think belief in each other, chemistry, relationships, the things that have nothing to do with X's and O's. And that was one of our biggest strengths this year. When you walked into a practice, you walked into a meeting, all the kids were friends with each other. All of them are joking, laughing around, spending time with each other. And that chemistry in a tough game, like when we played against Garrigan, really helps you come together in the critical moments. We went down 20-14 with about 3 minutes left in that game. Garrigan had really worn us out. We didn't have much left in the tank. And I heard Coach Osterman over the headset, because I was sitting up in the press box, say to the boys, hey, this is an opportunity for you guys to reveal who you guys are inside. And we marched it right down the field. Landon Waldschmidt throws a pass to Colin Homan. Collins are one of our best receivers, and throws it behind Colin, and the Garrigan kid knocks it up in the air, trying to get the interception, and actually ends up knocking it right into Brady Worth, his hands. Brady, not one of our top receivers, the definition of a tight end, a glorified offensive lineman who blocks a lot, doesn't get the ball thrown to him very often. And we had actually joked about that a couple weeks earlier, about how he had one catch, and he's kind of like, hey, Mr. Schutt, like, just wait. And in the biggest game of the year up to that point, he stepped up and had 2 touchdowns in that game, including this battered around pass that he really wasn't even supposed to be in the area, but he just continued playing hard, saw the ball was up in the air, and went and finished the play. So you talk about a situation where a kid puts himself in position by working hard all year, that when an opportunity presents itself, that he was able to take advantage of it. And so we score. Keaton Harpenot converts the 2-point conversion. We go up by 2, and we stop them as time runs out. And that was, I mean, you want to talk about emotions in a locker room. You would have felt like that was the state championship game for everything that it meant. And then progressing to the next week against Gladbrook Ryanbeck, it actually became a little bit of a challenge for us as coaches, because there was so much emotion and effort put into that Garrigan game to try to motivate them again. That that wasn't the championship game. Kind of like when you watch the Miracle on Ice. The Miracle game against Russia was the semifinal game. It wasn't even the championship game. So there's still work to be done. We had to get that message through, and we had some interesting days of practice where we weren't 100% there, but when the lights were shining, we showed up and we played a great game against Gladbrook, a really, really good team, a formidable opponent, and it was just awesome to come out on top in that.
What was the experience or the emotions like in the audience when they were able to secure that state championship?
I think, there's just a lot of joy there. Joy in finishing the process, something that you could say started at the beginning of the year, but even the year before, kind of being coming up short, not making it to the Dome for the first time in 5 years for us. So I know that the boys, it meant a ton to them. Their parents have put in a lot of time. We got all of our parents help with meals on Thursday nights. They help with sack lunches before and after a game. So for a lot of them, they put in just as much time as some of us coaches do with helping the boys be successful. And so I think it's kind of a shared experience for everybody, where the boys won the game, but everybody was a part of it in some way or another.
Winning 3 titles in 5 years, that takes more than just talent. It takes a championship culture. What would you say is the secret to building a sustained winning program there at Remsen St. Mary's?
Yeah, probably one of those questions that's probably going to look a little bit different wherever you go. I think we're lucky because in so many ways of our size, it actually is an advantage for us because there's so much tradition, so many people that care about Remsen St. Mary's. When you look at our school, probably about 90% of our students have had a parent or a grandparent graduate from St. Mary's. So there's just a long list of people that have been involved in the school for years and years and years. So where that really pays off for us is number one, the families are very involved and they're very supportive in what we're trying to accomplish. So whether it be getting coaches for youth sports, we have the Thunderbolts as our youth football program in town, and a lot of those parents have volunteered their time to help in the Thunderbolts program. And then I help coach junior high football, and there's been other coaches on staff like Michael Koink and Ryan Gallus that were junior high coaches before. So you talk about a continuity of the kids are being taught from seventh grade all the way through their senior year by guys teaching the same thing over and over and over again. We have a lot of coaches that not only graduated from St. Mary's, but have been here for a long time. So they're all sharing the same message with our kids. It's kind of funny how we'll have a conversation, me just being outside of a program sometimes, like girls basketball or whatever. And I might go up to a girls basketball player and say, hey, I really liked what I saw last night. I could see that you're giving great effort. You're a great teammate yesterday. And I'll talk to Coach Willman, and he'll say, that was the exact same thing that we just said to her in the locker room after the game yesterday. So I think that messaging part is the same across the board. It doesn't matter what sport you're in. So then that helps really develop your culture when the kids know the expectations from the fall sports to the winter sports to the spring to the summer, and it never really changes. We have a huge family atmosphere here where we look out for one another. And that's not just us as teachers, but coaches, staff members. Everybody cares about every kid that walks in the door. So we really help to develop every kid that we can, not just as individuals or athletes, but also spiritually, being a Catholic school. And that shows up outside on the athletic venues. When you have kids that know that they're valued and that they've been built up and developed in a positive way, I think that that's really huge. So I think there's just so many things that you can go down the list of that helps us to be successful. But it really starts with just the community and the nature of our school in the first place, and that consistent messaging from one person to the next, from one sport to the next.
Yeah, having that smaller school atmosphere definitely helps kids feel known and seen by all the coaches, the community. Whereas some of those bigger schools, I mean, you're just lost in the mix sometimes and don't feel cared for, or no one's asking you how you're doing or things like that. So I think that's definitely a big asset that you guys have, being a smaller school, that everyone just feels connected at all times. So.
Yep. Yeah. The amount of high fives and handshakes that I give out during the hallway. I know that sometimes I've heard when I, you miss somebody in the hallway, you don't say hello to them, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, what the heck's going on? Are you mad at me today?" It's like, "Oh no, I just didn't notice you." I mean that's how well connected we are in so many ways here.
That's awesome. That's cool to see.
Yep.
Football, not the only sport making waves at Remsen St. Mary's. What are some of the other recent athletic accomplishments that have made the school proud?
Yeah, we've had numerous accomplishments. It's kind of amazing when you think about, again, I think I said it earlier, our beds number is 36 this year, of some of the things that we've accomplished. When you think about Remsen and St. Mary's, I think football, obviously, we've had a lot of recent success, but I think the traditional sport for us is baseball. Remsen and baseball is pretty synonymous with each other. I think a lot of people care about baseball here in Remsen. I don't want to say that they care about it more than football or vice versa, but a lot of people care about baseball. And we've been to state baseball 8 years in a row now. We've won 2 state championships since 2016. We had a runner-up in 2022, one in 2023, and we're runner-ups last year, with essentially the same exact kids that are playing baseball are the same ones that play football, and they're the same ones that are playing basketball right now. So that's another area where you just have that winning culture from one sport to the next that essentially they all feel like, if they put in the work, if they watch the film and they listen to what their coaches say, that good things are going to happen for them. And we've been pretty successful and lucky in that regard. Girls basketball, they've made it to state, lost in the semifinals 2 years in a row. Last year, 2024, and then the year before in 2023. First 2 years that we had made it to state basketball on the girls' side. So that was an awesome accomplishment. Boys basketball, we've made it to state 7 out of the last 8 years. Last year was the first year we lost in the sub-state game to Lake Mills, who ended up making it to the semifinals. So we lost to a really good team there. We had a 3 at the buzzer that rimmed out that could have tied it, sent it into overtime. But that was a great year for us there too. Girls bowling, Callie Arns has made it 2 years in a row. She's actually bowling today, and I know she's in the top 4 at her bowling tournament. Our boys bowling team, we're combined with Galen and MMCRU, Marcus Meriden, Claiborne, Remsen Union. They qualified a couple of years ago on the boys bowling side. Our boys golf team made it to state in 2023. Girls golf, we've had some individuals make it the last few years. Softball has made it 4 years in a row down to the state tournament. And then our girls track team, Claire Schrader won the 100-meter hurdles last year. And then 2 years ago when they were all sophomores, Maya Bunkers, Claire Schrader, Hallie Gallus, and Whitney Jensen won the shuttle hurdle. And all the names that I said to you are all kids that Maya Bunkers, Claire Schrader, all state softball players. Whitney Jensen playing basketball at DMAC right now. When I talk about golfers, Colin Homan is a golfer, and then he is our best baseball player too. And so you don't usually hear the best golfer, best baseball player combination, but all of these kids are doing everything for us. And it's pretty remarkable because you think about right now on a basketball side, there's so many people that are playing all year, playing in the summer times, going to team camps, and we really don't have that opportunity because all of our kids are doing everything, but we've been able to have the success that we've had. Just knowing that for those 3 months or 4 months that we're together, we're going to give it everything that we have.
Just listen, accomplishment after accomplishment. It's one thing to win games, but true athletic programs develop student athletes for life. How do you and your coaching staff make sure that these athletes are growing off the field as well?
Yeah, I think that's one of the special things about St. Mary's that I can't comment on other schools or anything like that, but that is such a big part of our mission as a school. Our mission statement comes from Micah 6:8, to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk humbly with our God. So everything that we're doing within a school day is about developing the whole person, not just developing athletes or not just about developing kids that are going to go on to college and be successful academically. All that stuff's important, but all that stuff is important because we were created to be the best that we can be. And I've already talked about that family atmosphere where everybody's looking out for everybody. If you're having a hard day, somebody's going to say something to you. Somebody's going to help you try to work through that. We believe in discipline in a lot of ways, and I don't mean discipline as in like we're sending you to the office or anything like that, but discipline as there's an expectation to do the right thing. And it becomes easy as teachers and coaches when your students or your athletes believe in that as well. And we've had excellent leadership from our upperclassmen. This is just the way that it is. And they reinforce our culture in so many ways. And it trickles down to everybody else. And a great example of that in the athletic circle I know you talked about personal development and everything, but athletically, it was 2 years ago, the 2022 state championship football team. Coach Osterman had a meeting or something that day, and the other assistant coaches couldn't be there. So he said, "Hey, can you run down to practice, make sure that they get started with X, Y, and Z?" And I got down there, and by the time I got there, the boys had already gone through their stretching and were already into the first part of their practice, doing it exactly like if all five of us coaches were down there. And we didn't have to tell them, they just did it on their own. And it was as crisp and as energetic as if somebody was standing there yelling at them, telling them how to do it. And that was, I remember pulling them aside after that and being like, "Hey, you know how I know that you guys have a chance to be really special? It's because of things like this." When your leaders take over and the team is leadership led and not necessarily coach led, that's when you have a chance to do great things. And going back to that development part, again, what do we care about at St. Mary's? Respect for others, your teachers, your classmates, other staff members, community members. And we show that just by how we interact with each other in the hallways. Do we have our issues? Yeah, we have our issues just like anybody else. When you're dealing with high school, middle school, elementary school kids, like that, not everybody's going to get along every single day, but for the most part, we all love each other, and that's a big part of our school. Service for others. Part of being a Catholic school is going out and doing those community service projects. Some things that we've done is then Just Feed One, where we go and we bag up meals and we send them down to Honduras. We have some kids like a Keaton Harpanaugh, Lennon Steichen, and Brady Coink that are headed down to Honduras in a couple of weeks now with Galen to go and build houses down there. And those three names are three individuals that were on our state football team. Two of them are on our state baseball and state basketball team. So again, it's not just on in the athletic arena that these kids are being successful and doing great things. They're also doing it as individuals. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. We're just using athletics as an opportunity to develop these kids for things that are going to come up in life. I mean, it's not all about us as individuals. It's about being part of something that's bigger than yourself, and understanding that we're all God's children here, and what can we do to make somebody else's life better too.
With 3 football titles in 5 years, I'm sure expectations are sky high for next season. What would you say is next for the football program?
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting actually. This year, our breakdown is we had 10 seniors,
Wow.
1 junior, 2 sophomores, and 8 freshmen. And our 8th graders will probably get maybe 4 8th graders to go out. When you talk about class sizes, this could be one of our hardest years just from a numbers perspective next year. And it's hard to, you never want to say, well, the expectation is going to be different. But I think one thing that we emphasize is that our expectation, especially in football, Coach Osterman says this all the time, is, hey, we just want to go 1-0. It's not about winning the state championship. It's let's be the best that we can be for this 1 week. And if we come in with that mindset of, let's just develop, let's get better every single day, let's get better every single week, and let's just see where we end up at the end of the season. Like I said, it's going to be hard to say that we're going to be competing for a state championship just because we're going to be really young. We're going to be really young. But again, winning state championships isn't necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing is about developing into the best person, the best athlete, or the best student, or whatever it is that you can be. And that's what our goal is going to be.
Love that. And looking beyond football, what would you say are the big goals for the entire athletic department? Any exciting developments coming up?
Yeah, I'd say, when you talk about the just entire athletic department, I would say it's kind of that same expectation of day in, day out, let's get better. Our girls were very, very young this year in a lot of sports, volleyball, basketball. So next year, they'll be a little bit more experienced than they were coming into this season. And we were about a 500 volleyball team, about a 500 basketball team. We've got some young 8th graders that could come in and fill some roles. So just continue to develop there. Other big news on the St. Mary's side, we're in the process of trying to add on an elementary wing to our high school, middle school. Right now, we're 2 separate buildings. Our elementary is about 2-3 blocks away next to our church, and that building is well over 100 years old, I believe, and it served its purpose. So we're actually in the process right now of trying to get donations to add on a wing to our high school, middle school building and put everybody underneath the same roof. And in the process of making updates to the building as is. So I think that'll just be huge for everybody because one, again, you look at the numbers and you get nervous about, oh, well, you know what, we're going to be small next year. How long is this going to be sustainable? Well, this is a sign in my mind of, hey, we're going to be here for a long time. And hopefully younger families see that and they're more likely to, send their kids here to St. Mary's and want to be a part of all the great things that we have to offer, not just athletically, but as a school as well. Not this winter, but the year before, we had a really good donor, Joe Bates, who donated a lot of money for us to redo our gym floor. So with his donation and a lot of donations of people that care about the school, that have a lot invested, we were able to get that done, and we have a beautiful new gym floor. I'd say our softball field, Monty Harpanaugh and others, Jeremy Bunkers and Cole Nelson, our coaches last year, put a lot of time and effort in doing a lot of updates out there. So we have one of the nicest softball areas that you can find. Baseball is always a really nice facility, and our football field is a really nice facility too. So we've got a lot of really good things going on from a facility standpoint, and a lot of really great people involved with St. Mary's, and it's just a pretty special place to be. And regardless of what the numbers might be, we love all of our kids, and we love what we've accomplished here. And anybody that wants to be a part of it, we would definitely welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, it seems like you guys got a good thing going, good systems and processes in place to keep the success going, which is always a good thing.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, there's so many good people involved, and it would be wrong for me to sit here and I've been talking kind of as the head of the department and everything, but if I didn't give credit to all of our coaches that we've had here, Dean Harpanaugh graduated from Remsen St. Mary's, has been here for I don't know when Dean started coaching here again. I would say at least 12, 15 years ago, somewhere in there. Scott Rudin's been with the program, with the boys basketball program for the last about 15 years as well. Monty Harpanaugh just resigned, but he was with the softball program for a long time. Stacy Bunkers with volleyball. Her husband, Jeremy, graduated from St. Mary's, and she's got kids that are involved, and she's done a great job with our program. Scott Willman with girls basketball and track has been a part of that for a long time. Tim Osterman and Sue Klein with golf. And then, as I said, Tim Osterman's our head football coach as well. And they've all been head coaches for many, many years. So it makes my life pretty easy when I'm not having to train somebody or answer a lot of questions about, hey, how do we do this? How do we do that? They've kind of got a really good grasp on what needs to be done. And the best thing I can do sometimes is just stay out of the way. You guys, we are blessed, and it's not just our head coaches, our assistant coaches are fantastic too. We have great coaching staffs here that are knowledgeable and care about the kids. And like I said, it would be wrong if I didn't give them credit for everything that they do here.
All right, Jared, we are going to move into our rapid fire round where I'll ask quick questions. You give quick answers. You ready?
I hope so.
All right. Favorite moment from the football season?
Beating Garrigan. That moment with Brady Worth, that was awesome.
What is one piece of sports equipment that you wish had never been invented?
Ooh. Oh, sports equipment that this is obviously not rapid fire right now.
That's a tough one.
Oh, how about all of the protective gear that batters wear at the batter's box? The elbow guards, all that stuff.
Makes sense.
It's a good one.
If you could add any new sport to Remsen St. Mary's athletic program, what would it be?
Ooh, new sport that we could add. We don't have a ton of options, and it's hard to say adding one because if we add one, that means that certain kids can't participate in any.
Right.
But I know that flag football on the girls' side is rising in popularity across the nation,
Yeah.
and I think we have some girls that could really excel in flag football. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Love that. If you could trade places with any coach in the country for one game, who would it be?
Ooh, that's trade spaces with one coach in the country. There's a lot of stress that comes with those jobs that nobody appreciates as much as they should. Um, Gosh, if I could stand on the sidelines for an Iowa football game with Kirk Ferentz, oh man, that would be awesome. We would probably lose by 50. I would make every wrong decision possible, but to run out of the tunnel at Kinnick Stadium, that would be a moment that I would love.
What is the best nickname you've ever heard for a player or coach?
Best nickname. We've got some great ones here at St. Mary's, and I don't know if I want to say some of them. Oh boy. The one that comes up. Oh, best nickname. How about I'm going to say this one? He has been gone for a long time, but it's our husband or the husband of our school principal. Our school principal is Kim Phillips. His nickname is Weasel. Why? I don't know why, but it is, and that one comes to mind here. Jeff Phillips.
What is a sports rule that you would change if you could?
In boys basketball, add the charge circle.
Oh. What is the biggest sports rivalry for Remsen St. Mary's?
Lamar's Galen. And it's a respectful rivalry, but there is a lot of tradition there, and that's the game that you want to win.
What is one thing that you hope every student athlete learns from playing sports?
It's not about the outcome because you can't control the outcome. It's all about the process and your preparation to get to your end goal, and enjoy the journey because you can't take any of that for granted. Those are the memories that you're going to remember forever.
Great answers, Jarrod. That was a whole lot of fun. And this has been an amazing conversation. Congratulations again to you, the football program, really the entire athletic program on an incredible year. Before we go, any advice for young athletes or coaches that are looking to build their own winning culture?
As you ask that question, I think about I became the head boys basketball coach at Kingsley Pearson when I was 23. Yeah. And I don't think that I appreciated the time and the effort and the preparation that went into it. I thought maybe it was like, if I teach them X, Y, and Z, if we do this drill, things are going to take care of itself. And that became hard when it didn't work right away. So I think the consistency of day in and day out preparation, understand the process, and just try to make every day a little bit better than the day before. And I played football at Simpson under Jim Glogowski. He's now the head coach at the University of Sioux Falls. And Coach Glow had this analogy of the dehumidifier. And he said, every morning I wake up and the pail is full of water. And I go outside, I dump out the pail, I put it back in the dehumidifier. And all it does is it drips throughout the day. But the next morning I wake up and the whole pail is full again. And it was telling us that, small improvements over a long period of time lead to really big things. And that's a story that has stuck with me forever. He was a great motivator, great at using different types of analogies that you weren't going to forget. And that's one that I'll never forget.
Love that. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. Remsen St. Mary's is officially a powerhouse, and we will be keeping an eye on what's next. That is going to do it for today's episode of Building a Champion. Big thanks to Jarrod for giving us an inside look at Remsen St. Mary's incredible run. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. And until next time, keep building champions on and off the field.